What's up, niggas? Skinny P here. Now, as you read from the title, I played a game so bad it made me reconsider my priorities in life and my choices. I don't care if this video is watched by my gay ass homeboy only or millions of people. I just felt like I wanted to get my thoughts out there on this money loving, riches grubbing, blatantly thieving, greedy, scheming joke of a company. No, we don't like those these days, but this one's truly special, so without further ado, let's get straight into this mess. The game I want to talk about today is Dragon Ball Legends. Now, some might be surprised, I get it, especially with games like Genshin Impact that exists out there, but Dragon Ball Legends is special in many ways. I will try my best to convey that without this video being 3 hours long. Brief history about the game. Dragon Ball Legends is a mobile gacha game. Now, if you don't know what a gacha game is, they are essentially free to play, or usually free to play, but they can be premium games, often mobile, that use a monetization system inspired by Japanese capsule toy machine, Gachapon. I hope I pronounced that correctly for the weebos in the back, where players spend in-game currency bought with real money or earned to receive random virtual characters, weapons, upgrades through pulls or spins, just like a casino basically. These games rely on luck-based mechanics similar to loot boxes to drive engagement and spending by offering rare rewards with low probabilities, encouraging players to keep trying for better items. These games are often glorified slot machines, and most of them are money-sink garbage slabs, but sometimes you do come across interesting ones like Dragon Ball Legends. Now, this game in particular is interesting because it is not only a PvE game, but a PvP game as well. And this game has the Dragon Ball, obviously, the Dragon Ball IP attached to it. If this sounds like a pay-to-win game to you, that's because it absolutely is, but Bandai Namco takes it to another level completely, and I'll show you why. But first, I want to talk about the other shortcomings of the game and its systems before I get into the monetization system itself, and it will tie in together nicely. In the background, by the way, I have some gameplay of the game, just exploring like the events tab and the story tab, and just showing you like the game in general, the exchange shop, the premium currency up top, the summons. Like, I'll be showing it in a bit here. So yeah, let's begin with the core gameplay system of the game. The game splits into PvE and PvP. In the PvE side of the game, you enter matches with the roster of characters that you have, and you use different attacks to drain the opponent's health. And those attacks can range from range attacks with blast, melee attacks with strikes, to special attack cards for increased damage, or special arts cards to heal or draw cards or do other various effects. Some characters have ultimate abilities as well, and they look really good. They are well animated, well telegraphed attacks, and they are really a joy to look at. Gotta give them credit there. Now, in PvE, none of this really matters because most PvE events comes down to you just pressing cards, and also the story mode, which exists, also offers zero challenge to the player whatsoever. These events and modes are just a way to grind the game to get the resources needed to upgrade your characters for PvP, or the currency to summon for new characters, so they make them mind-numbingly easy, and something that you have to do. Not because you want to do it, just you have to do it. Now, because of this lazy design, the quality of the events suffer, as well as the story. I always believed that they can do so much more with the events and the story of the game, for that matter, but alas. Anyways, moving on, each season, or celebration as it's called in Legends, the events don't really change, and the story is not at all interesting, although it has some game original characters that are interesting, but the devs are not doing anything with them really. Like, they made like maybe 4 or 5 of them, and that's it, like went to sleep after, in 7 years of this game's runtime. So back to the battle system itself. How does it hold up? I'd say it is serviceable, nothing crazy, but it has its own shortcomings as well. You see, a while back the game actually took more skill than it does today. For example, you have a vanish meter that lets you dodge attacks, and it can recharge when you get attacked over certain abilities or special arts cards on some characters. Now the meter is now the meter used to be drained only when you dodge an attack or get hit by a main ability from the opposing character. Until they changed it last year and made it where you float backwards and forward also drains your vanish bar. And you might be wondering, how does that tie into skill? How does that tie into anything, literally? Well, basically you can attack from 3 ranges in this game: close, mid and far, and you have a number of ways to change between those areas, but it used to be that you can simply float with your character to move closer or further away from your opponent without draining the meter. Now it does. With this one single change, the game is not only limiting your combat options to a certain degree, but you're actually being punished for it. Because back then, when you could move freely, good players could often capitalize on that, and they would bait low-skill players into attacking them simply by moving closer to them, which made them nervous, spam attack and panic. Now, obviously, skilled players most of the time could read those things and they would not fall for it, but new players, they got punished for it. And the vision of the devs here was to remove the layers of complexity that makes this game what it is, and to bring everyone into this equal footing to diminish the gap between skilled players and new players, like it nearly diminishing in the first place with the egregious monetization system. And that is one of the many ways the game tries to do that, so it can appeal to a broader casual audience and incentivize them to spend more on the game. Also, this game has been introducing more and more mechanics in the past year that basically makes the game a game of chance. No matter how skilled you are, a lot of the actions and interactions in this game in PvP feels like a coin flip, like a 50-50, which is frustrating beyond words, especially if you're a good player. And I'll come back to this later, but let's talk about the resources in this game for a hot second. Now, the resources are your typical run-of-the-mill gacha game resources. You have a million different currency and tokens and fragments and a lot of different things that you can do to better your characters, to upgrade them. And what I really hate about this system is that it was made specifically to prevent you from hoarding those resources. It's obviously by design that you can't hold more than X amount for this specific resource. That is a pain in the ass to get. Now, you do get daily login rewards, obviously to keep you hooked up on the game and coming back, only if to claim your dailies, but once in a blue moon you might get an event that offers that currency in abundance, and it is relatively easy to get and easy to grind. But because of the dumb limit on those resources, even your grind has to be time gated and well managed just to make sure you never have a surplus of what you are actually looking for or what you actually need. And obviously the shop in this game offers countless of items and deals and packs that would save you a lot of time in acquiring those resources that you need to upgrade what you want. Now, for the elephant in the room, the premium currency and the summonable characters. I have never ever seen a game in my entire life that gives so little for so much. Premium currency is usually drip fed to you. Drip fed. And you can never have enough for most characters, and I'm not talking about how a gacha game obviously needs to make money somehow. No, I'm not talking about you having like abysmal chances on characters, okay, although that is also true obviously. I'm talking about monetary practices that even if you want to go free to play in this game, it's like the devs are doing everything within their power to force you to spend, because you get this free player, you get this because get this, as a free-to-play player, okay, you want to save your premium currency, right? You want to save it until you get something that you like, that you actually like. Well, the game says, fuck you, not today, you broke-ass hoe. The game puts a cap of 20,000 on the premium currency, which makes the events where they give out free CC absolutely obsolete. Because chances are, if you are free to play, you wouldn't benefit from 99% of the event rewards, because you already have more than the cap. The CC cap, CC being the premium currency obviously, which is 20k. So you have that saved up for a character that you wanna get, and if you are a whale, your dumbass is gonna spend on the game anyways. And to add insult to injury, the game actively tries to make your CC worth less and less with each update. For example, some banners, they have 100 characters included within the banner, but you know, out of those 100 characters, okay, Only the featured one is viable, which is like one character, or like two characters at most. And even that one is not gonna last. Also, I want to touch on the pity system. The pity system in gacha games ensures that you get the character you are summoning for after a certain point of spending. And games mainly do this so you don't put a hole in your wall or become suicidal if you invested a lot in one character and didn't eventually get it. But even their pity system here is garbage because remember the 20k CC cap? How much CC do you think you need in order for the pity system to actually work or activate? Mostly you need 40,000 fucking CC, double the amount that you can hold theoretically. So just like a black baby mama with 3 baby daddies, you will never be satisfied and you will always want more. Which leads me to my final main point, how this game sucks balls in this aspect. Power creep. The power creep, for those of you who don't know, is when you intentionally release powerful characters in your live service game that overpowers the previous ones released in order to entice people to buy them. And almost every live service game does this one way or the other. But what's so special about Dragon Ball is that the featured character that you saved for and rolled for and probably prayed to God for and got shafted on is only good for a laughable period of time, which can go as low as 2 fucking weeks. Are you telling me that my overpowered character that I couldn't even level up to max level because I ain't Jeff fucking Bezos will only last me for a month? Is this game made by my fucking landlord? I gotta pay every month just to compete? It's a sick joke, and what really sucks that it wasn't always like this. It all changed on this game's 7th anniversary celebration. The game has 2 major celebrations throughout the year. They both last a month and consist of 3 parts. And the game makes them themed around a specific tag or team and release characters for that team. Now these events are always highly anticipated and for the most part they are the most fun parts of Dragon Ball Legends. People play for these events because you get content weekly, whether it's good or bad. And the 7th anniversary, when it like, which the number in itself is holding a major significance in the Dragon Ball Legends because 7 Dragon Balls. It was supposed to revolutionize the game, the 7th anniversary. And while it kinda did, with great UI overhaul and fluid loading times and better navigation systems and the battle system 2.0, they made a lot of positive changes which made the combat more interesting and the game in general more fun and fluid and interesting. But along with it came Judgment Day for the current characters in Dragon Ball. Every character before the 7th anniversary part 1 was deemed utterly useless in an instant. As soon as the new characters dropped, they made everything else obsolete. Literally 7 years of development down the fucking drain. Kit-wise and what the character can actually do in terms of mechanical gameplay, there wasn't anything new or special or different about these characters. But stat-wise, numbers-wise, they blew everything out of the fucking water, everything that came before them. And the best part is, not even 2 weeks later, or 3, I can't remember, part 2 characters were even better than the part 1 characters, and they made those characters obsolete. Just like in the same fucking celebration, we saw the fallout of this new philosophy that Bandai Namco tried to adopt here. They tried to make a new philosophy for characters, you know, to not make every character a combo machine, but unique and fulfill a specific role on the team. So naturally, they introduced characters with the 7th anniversary that can do everything on their own. Tank, support, deal damage, unique abilities, force draw cards, and on and on and on. And part 3 was no better. If anything, part 3 was probably one of the lowest points for the game, meta-wise. Maybe top 3 at the very least, because for months we saw the same team over and over again, and since then, that's the new brand mark for this game. Release an OP character, make people summon on it, waste their CC on it, only to release another character a month after, or God knows, like maybe less, even more broken and more stupid than the last one, and so on and so forth. And you might be thinking, wait a minute, I don't have to summon on every character, I'm not obliged, right? Well, you kinda are, my dear viewer, because if you wanna compete, if you wanna touch PvP using any unit other than the top 3 at the time, it is simply unfeasible. Like, if you are really good, you can probably make it to top 20,000, 30,000 players, but you have no hopes in cracking the top 10,000 players. Like, unless you live and breathe this game, and you're extremely lucky, because remember, this game is becoming a coin flip with each passing update. So skill is diminished more and more as time goes on. So, to summarize, after everything I wrote here, I do wish and hope for the game to be better. Okay, the game, I really do. I really hope for the game to be less predatory. I hope that Bandai Namco devs see the error in their ways and see how player retention is suffering with each and every new release. Because people are tired of this shit, honestly. You see YouTubers complaining about it all the time. You see people are not, like, they are there for the drops, they are there for the summons, but they're not staying. Why is that? Because the meta is getting stale way too quickly. One character can change the meta, and that's it. Like, we're stuck with one character that is defining the meta, and there's no escape. So it's a sad situation. I'm passionate about this game. I want it to succeed. It's one of the few games on mobile that you can actually get into and have fun. And it seems that the devs often try their best to persuade you otherwise. Like, they don't respect your time, and they don't respect your money, definitely. And this game could be so much more. But for now, it's just another gacha game carried by its Dragon Ball IP. Nothing less, and regrettably, nothing more. Thank you so much for watching.